Immersed Robot.
Hello everyone, welcome to Immersed Robot. So this is just a quick update video to let you know what's going on with my Valve Index situation, and I'll probably be showing some footage of Vox Machina. That's probably the most likely footage I'm showing at the moment, but if it's any different then I apologise. But yeah, so I sent my Valve Index back to Valve because I noticed a few dead pixels with the display, and also the IPD slider adjustment had got really loose, so I noticed the digits popping up on the display every now and again, even when I just turn my head a little bit too quickly. So it was getting a little bit annoying, and I decided to contact support at Valve, even though I've had the Valve Index for around 2.5 years. I've had it since launch, so it's quite a long time now, and I didn't know if they were just going to tell me to get lost or what they were going to do, but they did say send it back to them and they would send me out a replacement. It wouldn't be a new one, but it would be a refurbished one. And when I heard this, I thought that's great, I'll go ahead and do that. And then I started researching all of this information online about refurbished units and the controllers that people are getting back, and it's a bit of a mixed bag. Sometimes people are really pleased with it, other times they're really not. And I didn't know what to expect, but the refurbished Valve Index did arrive last week, and I was pleasantly surprised. It was almost like a new unit, really. It was pristine, so I was excited to connect it up and see how it performed. And unfortunately that's where things went a bit wrong. So I connected it up in the same way that my old Valve Index was connected up, and I went through a quick update section, then I started the room setup, and about halfway through that the headset disconnected from USB, and from that point on it just wouldn't recognise it at all on the PC. And I've gone through pretty much everything. I won't bore you with all the details of what I've tried and what I haven't tried, but the end result is that I've had in the device manager it says that the device descriptor response has failed, and I've gone through all of the usual things that I can find in order to try to rectify this problem. Unfortunately it's just not working, it's just not picking up the Valve Index at all. So I've been back and forth with Valve support again, and they're getting me to try all of these different things, send them new diagnostic reports and stuff like this, but it's just a long-winded process. It sort of takes at least 24 hours to get a response from them when I've sent them an update. So I'm just going back and forth with them with regards to this at the moment. So I've still not got a Valve Index headset up and running. That's the end result of what I'm telling you here. And I am disappointed, and I'm sort of playing a little bit of PC VR on my Oculus Quest 2. And actually just today I've had a fresh install of Windows. I've decided just to wipe everything off and do a completely fresh install of Windows 10 to see if that rectified the problem with the Valve Index. Unfortunately I had exactly the same issue. Nothing else was installed, and the installation of the Valve Index was the first thing I did, and unfortunately that's still not solved the problem. It's got exactly the same issue. So I think it's either a cable problem or a problem with the headset itself. I'm not too sure on that, so I'll keep going back to Valve support and see what they say, see what they suggest. But it's just a little bit frustrating. I'm also having a few issues with the Quest. The Oculus software seems to be crashing when I change the audio source on the PC, or even when I sort of have the Oculus mirror set up at the moment. There's just a few things that I need to sort out at the moment. So that's really what's going on with my headsets. I just really want to get my Valve Index set up again because it's the best way of judging performance, I find, as well. The problem is when I test performance on certain other headsets like the Oculus Quest 2, it means that I'm having to factor in the encoding, the video compression, stuff like that, and I understand that that's not the way that the Valve Index is going to be, so I don't really want to do any performance tests with the Oculus Quest 2 and say that that's going to translate to how the Valve Index will perform or anything like that. And that's my main focus, I suppose. If I'm doing PC-based VR performance videos, then I really want to test them on the Valve Index. That's the most comfortable way for me to do it, really. So yeah, it's just a little bit frustrating at the moment, but that's okay. These things happen, and it's all first world problems anyway, so I can't complain too much about it. I'll just keep patient with Valve support, and hopefully it will be rectified at some point soon. The other thing I wanted to quickly mention as well is Elite Dangerous and what's going on with Elite Dangerous. We had some updates from Frontier to say that basically they are not going to support the consoles anymore. They are not going to get any... Well, actually, no, support is the wrong term. They're not going to be getting any updates. They're not getting the Odyssey update on either the current generation of consoles or the last generation of consoles, but they will be going into, I guess it's sort of called maintenance mode. They'll be continuing to support them on those consoles, giving them patches and making sure everything runs smoothly. They will also be getting the Galnet update, so they'll continue to get all the story updates and things like that on the console as well. But they're not getting Odyssey, they're not getting any updates with reference to that. So it's a little bit disappointing to hear that. Not entirely unexpected, I suppose, because the fact that they are struggling with performance even on high-end PCs means that they are trying to sort of compress that down to get it working even on last gen consoles, and I think that's one of the complications as well. I think Frontier have the necessity to get it working on last gen consoles as well as current gen consoles in order to fulfill their obligation to the contracts that they signed with PlayStation and Xbox in order to get those working. And if they can't do it on last gen, then they have no option but to cancel it on current gen as well. So I think that's what's going on at the moment. And again, it's not really too much of a surprise, just very disappointing. And actually, I've just recently picked up Elite Dangerous on my PS4 because my son wanted to get into it. So it's okay, really. I mean, he can still enjoy it. It's still the game. It's basically Horizons. He can still enjoy the game for what it is. There's still plenty of, many hours that you can enjoy Elite Dangerous. It's just at the back of my mind, and probably at the back of his mind as well, is the fact that that is the game. It's not going to be getting any further updates on that platform, which is, it's a bit of a shame, but we'll see. And the thing is with Elite Dangerous and what other people are speculating around this is the fact that, does this indicate anything towards the game in general? Does it mean that in general they are winding down updates for this game, and will it eventually go into a maintenance mode on the PC? And I suppose eventually it will. I think what this is showing is some probably fundamental limitations of the engine, and without a full rewrite of the engine, then they can't really do too much else with it. I don't know the fundamentals of this. I'm just sort of voicing some of the things that I've heard around people that are far more knowledgeable about this subject than I am. And if it seems, it's an old game now, it's sort of 8 years old, and there will inevitably come a point where the engine simply can't handle what they want to do with it. And perhaps we are getting close to that point now. And it's... I just don't want it to disappear. That's the thing. I suspect it won't disappear, and I think there will still be plenty of updates for the next few years for the PC. But at some point it will come where they are just hitting that wall of the limitations of the engine and they can't do anything with it. And that will either mean that they need to look at some kind of sequel, some kind of ground up recoded sequel for this game, or they stop further development and go into a continuing maintenance mode, which hopefully again will last a number of years. We don't know what's going on with all of this stuff, and it's difficult. There's a lot of speculation around this, and I'm listening and watching all of this speculation with interest, but yeah, I'm not the most knowledgeable on this subject at all, and I'm still going to enjoy the game for what it is, but all of this talk is putting a bit of a damper on the overall experience, I'll be honest, at the moment, and I just hope it will continue to improve over the years and they can just wring as much out of it as they possibly can, because at the end of the day I want this kind of game in VR. I want this to be that game that I play in VR. This is sort of the main thing that I keep going back to. And eventually, if Star Citizen gets VR support, then I could potentially move over to that, but that seems like a long way off as well. So we'll see. But once again, I'm rambling in this video. I don't know what I'm saying, so I'll leave it there. But thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.